Sometimes, the greatest threat to an empire does not come from an enemy's sword, but from the hidden power lurking within its own palace. A man who once held the reins of the empire in his hands, now stands before the court of justice himself. He is accused of murder, conspiracy, and above all, of challenging the authority of the Sultan. But the real question is, was Halil Pasha truly a traitor, or was he the victim of a political game that he himself had helped create? And today, we will uncover the complete story of that final court, the final verdict, and the final moments of Halil Pasha. Today, a man stands before the court who spent his entire life serving the state. A man who once held the power of the empire in his hands now stands here to answer for that very power. The accused, former Grand Vizier, Ibrahimoglu Halil Pasha. But this is no ordinary court. Here, neither the Sultan's authority, nor his position, nor his family, nor his past achievements can change the verdict. Today, only one thing will be considered: what is the truth? The Qadi takes his place and looks toward Halil Pasha. Halil Pasha, this is not the first time you have appeared before Sharia. Today, the scales of justice have been set. This court stands neither under the Sultan's shadow nor under the influence of any minister. Here, only the light of truth will determine the verdict. Neither lineage, nor rank, nor religion, nor past greatness will matter. Because a man suspected of harming the order of the state must be weighed on the same scales as an ordinary man. Even the Sultan is one among his subjects. And the Grand Vizier is not above the law. The first major accusation against Halil Pasha concerns the death of Baltiglu Suleiman. During the siege of Constantinople, Suleiman was killed. The accusation is that Halil Pasha used his position and influence to play a role in his murder. The Sultan himself had demanded an explanation from Halil Pasha regarding the matter. But even then, Halil remained silent. And a question arises in the courtroom: was that silence an admission of guilt? Uneasiness spreads among those present in the assembly. Some voices rise in Halil Pasha's defense. That is a lie. Pasha could never do such a thing. But the Qadi orders everyone to remain silent. Halil Pasha himself rises to answer. He reminds the court that his family has long been part of the foundations of this state. He devoted his entire life to serving the state. When the seal of the Grand Vizier was placed in his hands, it was not merely the responsibility of serving a king. It carried the burden of the entire Muslim community upon his shoulders. The Qadi stops him from recounting the story of his past. Come to the matter at hand, Halil Pasha. Halil says, he is being accused of murdering Baltiglu Suleiman, but the truth is that Suleiman also sacrificed his life while serving the state. He says that sacrificing oneself for the state has always been a tradition in his family, but Muradoglu Muhammad is not willing to accept his explanation. He addresses Halil and says, do not use your old loyalty as a veil to hide today's treason. According to him, Suleiman became a victim of Halil Pasha's political ambitions. And that same political game could one day become a trap for Halil Pasha himself. Halil Pasha replies that it was his political strategy that had kept the Ottoman Empire strong for so long. He defends tradition. He says that he remained loyal to the state throughout his life, and if the price of that loyalty is death, then he is willing to pay it. Outside the courtroom, the situation is also changing. The Janissaries regard Halil Pasha as their spiritual father. To them, today's trial is not merely an action against one man, but an attack against their protector and patron. Their anger continues to grow. They say, will we hand over the man who sacrificed everything for us? Another voice rises, "Our Pasha gave us his wealth, his power, and his compassion. Now their decision has been made. The Janissaries intend to march toward the court. Their objective is clear: to take Halil Pasha back." The trial resumes. The Qadi asks Halil Pasha another question. After Baltiglu Sulayman's death, violence broke out between the Janissaries and the Akinjis. Did Halil Pasha have any role in that bloodshed? Halil rejects the accusation. He says that disorder within the army and violations of old traditions brought the two groups into conflict with one another. According to him, he gave no order and never instructed anyone to rebel. But Muradoglu Muhammad attacks again. He says, "You speak of tradition." In his view, tradition is preserved through loyalty, not personal power. He accuses Halil Pasha of creating a political system in which even the Sultan's authority became weak compared with Halil's influence. A system where families began fighting among themselves, sons became enemies of one another, and the blood of the sacred Ottoman dynasty was spilled. According to Murad, this is Halil Pasha's true legacy. Now another extremely sensitive matter comes before the court: the death of Prince Ahmed. Muradoglu Muhammad explains that as soon as Sultan Mehmed ascended the throne, he began preparing for the conquest of Constantinople. But at that time, many dangers existed both inside and outside the state. There was the Karaman threat. European powers were present. And the empire was entering a new era under its new sultan. Murad says that in this political situation, he believed a change in the succession could be better for the state. He accuses Halil Pasha of attempting to place Prince Ahmed on the throne. And then Prince Ahmed was killed at the hands of Evrenisoglu Ali Bey. Halil Pasha does not accept this accusation. But according to Murad, if Halil had not brought Ahmed closer to the throne through his political planning, perhaps the murder would never have happened. In his view, the blood of the prince must also be counted among the consequences of Halil Pasha's political actions. An important question is raised in the courtroom: do you make this decision, or does the Sultan? The answer is clear. Here, neither the Sultan nor the Grand Vizier will make the decision. Sharia and justice will decide. But at the same time, news arrives that Mahmud Pasha has reached the court and wishes to attend the hearing. Meanwhile, the Janissaries are also advancing toward the court. The matter is no longer limited to the courtroom. It is about to become a confrontation in which, on one side, stands the law of the state, and on the other, the soldiers loyal to Halil Pasha. They are stopped along the way. They are told, "Turn back. The road you are taking will not end well." But the response comes, "We have already set out. Even if death awaits us ahead, we will not turn back." Sahangir tries to reason with his brothers. He says that he does not want bloodshed. For the last time, he advises them to turn back. But the anger of the Janissaries does not subside. Eventually, swords are drawn. And an order is given: whoever rebels against the Sultan will have his head separated from his body by the sword. Now this is no longer merely a matter of one court case. It has become a clash between two centers of power within the empire. Back in the courtroom, Muradoglu Muhammad makes the greatest accusation against Halil Pasha. He says, "You were not the owner of the state. You were merely its trustee." But Halil used the seal of the Grand Vizier for his personal influence. According to Murad, Halil attempted to replace the Sultan's system with his own political designs. In his defense, Halil Pasha says that he always followed one principle. When a young and inexperienced Sultan ascends the throne, it is the duty of the Grand Vizier to hold the state together, protect the Sultan, and keep him away from danger. He says, that is what I did. But according to Murad, that was precisely the problem. He claims that under the pretext of protecting an inexperienced Sultan, Halil himself took power into his own hands. Then comes the moment everyone has been waiting for. Sultan Mehmed himself stands before Halil Pasha. The Sultan addresses him, Çandarlı, look at me. He says that Halil was not merely his minister. He was his teacher. He was a reminder of his father. As a child, the Sultan had learned much from Halil. But today, there is no affection in the Sultan's voice. There is judgment. He says, you had intelligence, you had wisdom, you had power, but you did not have justice. And then comes a sentence that summarizes the entire trial: where there is no justice, tradition becomes a lie. The system becomes oppression, and loyalty turns to ashes. The Sultan makes it clear that he will eliminate even the remaining influence of Halil Pasha from the empire. The Qadi announces that a witness will now be brought forward. Halil Pasha is surprised. He asks, where is the witness? Muradoglu Muhammad replies, the witness is here. Then a man is brought before the court. He explains that, on the Sultan's orders, he had remained beside Halil Pasha like a shadow. He had monitored several matters. And now, in court, he testifies that Halil Pasha played a role in the death of Baltiglu Suleiman, the killing of Prince Ahmed, and the bloodshed between the Janissaries and the Akinjis. Then he speaks his final words, Çandarlı Halil Pasha is guilty. Now there is almost no room left for Halil to defend himself. The Qadi delivers his verdict. The decision is not based on Halil's position or family. It is based on his actions. According to the court, Halil Pasha tied the security of the state to his own person and influence. He turned the seal of the Grand Vizier into a source of personal power. And he gave rise to political unrest.